Hello, Drake and Sad Boy Cinema here, and today I'm reviewing a few different little projects that I have listened to, but I feel like I just don't have enough to say about to take up a full review, so I'm going to be doing a mini review here of each of these following projects. The first one being one that is heavily requested, Glubbo by Glubbo. Now, I don't know who Glubbo is, but I'm assuming this is the same guy who made Bubbo. That's what the comments said. And also the cover art is in the same style. There's also another character, Dinky, but I listened to a few minutes of that record right after I listened to Bubbo, and I didn't hear enough differences to want to check out the entire thing. So when this album was recommended to me, I was hesitant about listening to this too. Was it going to be an exact same helping of Bubbo, or was it going to be something even more experimental or abstract to the point where it's not even listenable anymore? Personally, I find this album to be slightly better than Bubbo, and it's in a completely different vein, and I like it for very different reasons. I like this project more because it is more electronic and it is more synth heavy, whereas Bubbo is more just weird to be weird at times. Bubbo is like a bunch of different musical passages and ideas tossed into one album, whereas with this album, it's obviously one piece is meant to be listened to in one continuous sitting. With Bubbo, you could listen to each track individually and you won't need the context of the rest of the tracks there, whereas with this, you cannot pick a singular track from this or it will not make sense progressively. Now, I don't mean to sit here and just compare this constantly to Bubbo because I believe that this is the superior record to Bubbo, but I need to preface that if you didn't like Bubbo, that this is a different experience than that album. You're not going to get any of that weird cartoonish voice on here. You're not going to get any sort of demons that you get on that track. You're not going to get any sort of weird, just nonsensical turns into different genres. With this, it's just one very consistent electronic piece that is just gorgeous. The first few seconds of the first track draws you in, and there's no turning away from this album once it actually gets into it. I will say that the main drawback is I can only find this on Bandcamp, and the listening platform on Bandcamp doesn't have gapless listening as far as I know. So unless I download every track and piece them all together, which I'm going to do, then it can't really be a smooth piece. But other than that very tiny complaint, this project is gorgeous from front to back. Not even a project, it's just like a piece of music. I give Glubbo an 8 out of 10. And the next project I'm covering is The Kid Juicy Fuck Love Era. The Kid Juicy is an underground auto-crooner from India, heavily inspired by artists like Juice WRLD and potentially the Kid Laroi. I'm just guessing because of his name. He goes over the type of production you would expect from artists like that. Now, I don't mean that in a bad way because his music is pretty good. He has vocal talent, he has a good ear for melodies, and he also has a good ear for production. None of the beats on here sound weak, none of them sound poorly mixed. The main issue I have with this project, though, is that other than about 1 or 2 tracks on here, the EP runs about the same BPM throughout. Now, that could be fine if it was like an ambient piece or like something more low-key, but since this is supposed to be trap bangers and just really, really sad melodic stuff, it doesn't work as well in its favor. That doesn't mean Kid Juicy is any less entertaining on the mic, though. His melodies are almost guaranteed to get stuck in your head, some of the production is catchy too, and that one feature on the album did a pretty solid job, so it's not like anyone was underperforming, it's just, I feel like the Kid Juicy could experiment a little bit more, reach out, try different things, and just branch out his sound a bit more to potentially get somewhere where he's a completely captivating artist, as this is his first project. So this isn't like his peak or his like 7th project where he's still doing the same thing over and over. This is his very first project, and it's pretty solid. I'd say it's a C. It's pretty decent. And finally, the last project I'm talking about is this Rubee EP, Anatomy. Rubee is this artist that I found on TikTok, I believe. She's this indie artist who sounds a little bit like Taylor Swift, has kind of a country vibe to her, I guess. All of this is acoustic music. It's not like synth or experimental or rap or anything like that. This was one of my first forays into an independent artist, an underground, very low-key independent artist, and their release. And honestly, I am pleasantly surprised, and this is a pretty entertaining first listen. Now, there's nothing here to really blow me out of the water. I'd say that the first 2 tracks are the most compelling, and then Michael Cera has almost no redeeming qualities to it. It's just kind of an empty song overall. Like, it's an okay listen, but, like, I feel like the lyrics are too vapid, and there's not enough song structure to it. But it's not like the vocal performance is grating. I just feel like Michael Cera is underperformed as a track overall. The title track, though, Anatomy, is really catchy. It's really the track that draws you in as it is the opener and it's what it should do. But again, it is the best track on the project, so it's only downhill after Anatomy. But it is only a 4-track EP, so it doesn't really drag it down too much that one of the tracks is not great, another track is okay, and then 2 tracks are really good. If you get 2 tracks out of this 4-track EP, I'd say that's pretty solid. I'd say that this is a C also. Obviously, she could work on her songwriting in the future and stuff like that, but a C is still good. And yeah, those are the 3 projects I decided to talk about for a little bit. So let me know your opinion down below in the comments. Let me know if you disagree or agree. Maybe suggest another project. It might take me forever to get around to it again. And I currently have an ever-expanding listen list. But I only have 2 albums to talk about for this channel, though. So I don't know when I'm going to get around to those, but those are both 2022 projects, and hopefully I will get to them as soon as I can. So yeah. Bye.